Hey everyone, 4 o'clock the morning of the big day. Just waiting for my Uber to get to the airport and begin my journey. Wish me luck.
I'm setting out on my 250-mile through hike of the Superior Hiking Trail. In this first section, I'm starting at the Northern Terminus and hiking to Grand Marais. First though, I have to actually make it to the Northern Terminus, the most remote part of the trail. I'm done all my flights for the day. I just have a couple hour layover between my last flight and my bus up the coast of the lake. Been wandering around town at Duluth with my bag on my back and a box full of supplies to be dropped off at a store tomorrow morning. So definitely look a little strange, just kind of wandering around the roads near the airport, but gotta kill time somehow. After doing a little exploring of Grand Marais, I had one last meal and drink at my sister's place, then watched the full moon rise over Lake Superior before going to bed. Hey everyone, today is the morning the hike begins. Yesterday was a long travel day, but now I'm finally here in the North Shore. I am walking over to the local business to drop off my food box for the second leg of my trip. But once that is complete, I will be getting on my shuttle and heading north to the terminus of the trip. Once I dropped off my supplies, I was ready to finish packing and catch my shuttle. It dropped me off at the Northern Terminus, which is near the 270-degree overlook, where you can see Canada to the north and the rest of the trail to the south. A couple miles into the trip, you get dropped off at this parking lot, where then there's a 1 mile walk north to the overlook where I took some videos. There was also this couple who just coincidentally happened to be dropped off at the same time, so I did that section with them. Now I'm heading south on the trail, a couple miles in. Gorgeous weather, gorgeous country. It's a great start to the trip. Six miles in, and I am already at the highest elevation on the trail. So that means the entire next 240 miles are all downhill. First lake of the trip. This is Andy Lake. Absolutely gorgeous. We're at Hellacious Overview, which is the first actual view of the lake from the trail. We started pretty far inland, but after 11 miles, back within sight. All set up in camp for night one. There is someone else sharing the campsite with me. They're away getting water, so at least for the first night, got myself a camping buddy. Good morning from the trail. It's day 2. Already started just a little bit after sunrise, and definitely have a couple lessons learned. Number 1, when you're sitting and relaxing at camp at night, just go ahead and fill all of your water. Don't say, I'll do it in the morning, because then you'll just slow down getting out of camp. Number 2, don't use the last of your water in the morning to make your coffee, because then when you go to the bathroom, you don't have any for your bidet. And number 3, if you're gonna eat on the move, like breakfast this morning, double check the terrain to make sure you're not hitting a massive uphill the whole way. Today has been a struggle. Basically, my shuttle yesterday, there was a snafu. I got picked up an hour later than usual, so I got an hour later start. I could go to a closer campsite on day 1 than I planned, which wasn't the problem. The problem is today. This is the longest single part of trail with a gap between campsites. There's an 11-mile gap between this campsite I'm about to walk onto for lunch and the next one. So my issue is, do I still have 11 miles left of me this afternoon? Adding to my challenges were sporadic rain and a tornado watch for that night. I really wanted to make sure I had a solid campsite in case the worst happened. So here you can see my prom. Hazel Camp in a little under half mile is where I'm gonna do lunch. But then the next one is 12.5 miles from here. So the state park is only 9.2 from here, under 9 by the time I get to lunch. And with the time of day I have left, I think that's the route I'm gonna go. Luckily, my girlfriend Amanda was smart enough to convince me to book a site at the state park. Here are some of the leaves I've been expecting. That. 3 milestones hit. 25 miles, which means I'm a quarter done the 100-mile challenge, 10% done the entire trail, and also at the same time I've entered my first state park, Judge Magny. Tangible progress, feeling good. I think this tree is hanging on by a thread but is still alive. So every day I want to do roses and thorns. That is something that went well, something that didn't go well. So for day 2, one thing that's gone very well is my water filter. Yes, it's a little heavier, it's electric, but every time I stop, I'm in, I'm out, I'm quick. My thorns are my chicken tramper shoulder pockets. If you see, I actually don't have them on anymore. They were more trouble than they were worth. While you could fit stuff in them, the openings were actually much smaller. So you really struggled fitting things that should fit in because you couldn't get them through the opening. So took them off, they're in the bag. Gonna ship them back home when I get into town. Day 3, we had a tornado watch last night and a massive thunderstorm overnight. So none of my gear dried out, everything's starting out a little bit wet, but still in good spirits. The other bad news is I did break my only phone charger, so I need to have my phone last until I get to town tomorrow. So I'm going to be a little more judicious on videoing with my other camera rather than my phone. Despite those setbacks, I was excited for the lake walk, the only portion of the whole trail directly on Lake Superior. I was able to find a little island a few feet off the coast and rested there for lunch. Good morning, day 4, my first day in town, going into Grand Marais for resupply. The campsite last night, there was a family of 4 there, so I didn't want to film and ruin their evening. But for day 3, I definitely wanted to share my roses and thorns. So the rose was just the landscape. The lake walk was gorgeous. There was a hill called Wildflower Hill that was absolutely gorgeous. It was just fantastic all around. Thorns are definitely the blisters I'm starting to develop. I'm taking a lot of precautions with Gold Bond powder and my Injiji socks and Leukotape, and even with all those precautions, I'm still getting some blisters. So they are not necessarily painful when I'm walking on trail at day, but at night when I'm airing them out, I definitely feel them. On Pincushion Mountain, one of the best vistas of the trail, I discovered my drone had water in the lens, making it foggy, and my Insta360 camera wouldn't even turn on, limiting me to just my phone for the time being. Whew. Noon on day 4, finally off trail for the first time, although I still have 2-mile walk into town. So, just finished most of my errands in town, other than laundry, which I'm going to right now. Couple updates. I did decide to send home some gear that I wasn't using or wasn't working for me. So as I mentioned, those 2 shoulder pockets were just not helping out at all, so I shipped them back. I've actually been overheating and sweating at night, so I did ship back my down jacket, although I did keep my fleeces. I've been using those. I also was not having any luck with my camp shoes. They were really flimsy. They were keeping my feet clean, but not keeping them safe. So in town, I found some slightly heavier flip-flops, but still pretty basic flip-flops to wear around camp, let my feet air out and give me a little bit more protection. So with all of that, plus picking up my supply box from the store, my pack is heavy again, unfortunately, but going to go do some laundry, should feel a little bit refreshed, and then go into my campsite and grabbing another nice dinner as well.